God. There are parents. This objection that I always ask in each of the gods comes to us mainly from some Protestant Christians and some Muslims. Why? Because the Church defined at the very beginning when it had peace so in the Council of Ephesus that Marie was God's mother, and immediately the controversy began, and she is visible in the Koran. Or give up their prophets' rights. How can we make a God member God equal with God's answer to that simple God? It is discovered first, I say them, by the human intelligence alone, and the revelation made to Moses confirms this discovery. God can only be unique, and as it is eternal it does not per year. Obviously if we asked a parent to God, it would be this year that would be God. Marie is not the mother of God in his eternity. Marie is a little creature that was conceived probably towards laon, 15 BC, before the birth of his son. Only God once said all Christians decided at one point to come to earth to become man by remaining God, by assuming a human nature without changing his own divine nature, what is called a hypostatic union, to make a single being who is God made man. And so he proposed, he chose a girl to be his mother in his earthly birth. What Marie gave birth to a human nature? No, she gives birth to a being, and this being, it is God made man. That is why Marie and mother of God. Really, unless you do not believe that Jesus is God, then some have objected, but the Trinity is to accept that God, who is the Son and Father, to know God the Father. Be careful again, there are comparisons, the term Father and Son, and a comparison, because we cannot know the intimate life of an immutable infinite being without making comparisons in what we usually know to know in our life. God the only eternal, the one who is called I am Yahve, such as has been revealed to Maurice, spend his eternity. It is a way of speaking to the only thing that can fill him. He knows himself because he is the only reality that exists, and this knowledge is perfect. Because God is infinite and his intelligence is identical to himself, and well, this knowledge that he has of himself perfect is a concept. The word concept is said in Latin verbum, the verb, and this concept is exactly identical to him, since God knows himself perfectly well, so that the so-called Son of God is actually the concept that God has of himself. But as he is perfect God in front of himself and God in front of himself, we have only one God in two identical people, otherwise he would not know perfectly result when to make understand to men that God speaks of fathers and son, the exact scientific term, and the ternel and its verb about the Holy Spirit is their infinite mutual love, is therefore identical to God, third person of the Trinity. It must be understood that the Christian faith is established in the logical sequence of the discovery of unique God by the intelligence alone.